Hello all, today I'll be presenting phaco in a mid-dilated pupil. Let's watch this video. I mean, what things are relevant when you are operating in a pupil which is not fully dilated. So what all things you have to take care, let's watch in this video. This is a unedited video, and as you can see the side port is being made, and after making a side port, injection of air bubble is done, followed by dye that stains the capsule uniformly. And it is always good to stain in such cases because then you are sure that you can make your Rexes properly. The adrenaline was used and visco caused a bit of more mechanical dilatation, but as we will proceed again, the pupil will come back to that mid dilated state. So I always make a three planar incision, and that gives a stable wound most of the times. And now after injecting visco, I would be going inside and trying Rexis, which I do mostly with Utratas forceps. With both the limbs closed, I rub on the interior capsule, and that invariably creates a flap. And then you take that flap outside to the extent, to the desired extent of the diameter of Rexis you actually wish for, and then you rotate it in a circular fashion and inject visco as and when required to prevent this Rexis to go towards the periphery, and mostly it is towards the last quarter when the visco actually decreases in anterior chamber, and this causes Rexis to go towards periphery. Hydro is another crucial step of a cataract surgery because you have to inject fluid in the right plane, then you have to tap a little so that the fluid doesn't get entrapped behind the lens. And once you are through with this hydro dissection, gently dial the nucleus to see if it is free, and just a minimal rotation is adequate to check for your adequate hydro dissection. So after this, I always keep my irrigation of the phaco probe on, and I go inside the interior chamber, and my intent initially is to make a small and deep trench because this is a modified stop and chop technique which we follow, and this technique actually is quite beneficial, especially for beginners, because even if in divide and conquer it may seem easy to crack that nucleus mechanically, but still this I see it as a more safer technique because even if you are not able to hold, you can always go back and do phaco as you do in divide and conquer. So a central crater was made, and now I would be burying my phaco probe and chopping this nucleus. What is important here is that the hole should be adequate and we should get a crack, and as you can see the crack hasn't extended towards the other end. So in such cases, do not just panic, just keep on making smaller pieces. Again you can see that there is just a crack which was made, and again the crack is there but it is not extending to the other end. But see, again after making this crack, now you can lift this piece easily, and now the whole process will become easy because now what is there is few pieces, and now there is ample space also. So now if I could just rotate this and cause this crack, again see how easily this piece is getting cracked. So key here is that you have to create multiple pieces, even though that crack doesn't extend, that break doesn't extend towards the other end. Just keep on breaking the nucleus into smaller pieces, and one of those pieces will always lift, and then you can emulsify it into the central safe zone. In the central safe zone you can emulsify it, and after that the pieces they crack easily, and you can emulsify the nucleus one by one and see how beautifully and how easily this nucleus was emulsified. And this is the last fragment which is just left, and now the nucleus was emulsified. Whenever you are doing irrigation and aspiration, just be sure of the incision, the irrigation and aspiration incision. They should not be too wide so as your wound will become leaky and the chamber will be unstable. So all what you require is an adequate size side ports so that you do a bimanual irrigation and aspiration, and if required you can gently polish your capsule and remove all the cortical fiber, all the cortical remnants if are there, and then implant the IOL safely. So in this case, since this was a mid dilated pupil, again what I say that what things you have to take care is avoid iris manipulation and just keep on creating smaller cracks, and just don't panic, just make smaller cracks, and eventually one of those cracks will lift into the central safe zone. You have to emulsify it, and once done, once you've emulsified the whole nucleus, then it becomes easy. Even if the pupil is mid dilated, you can go ahead with the irrigation and aspiration. And in most of my cases what I do is I do hydro implantation of IL. So again, in this case, I would be implanting the lens under saline, and you can see the leading heptic is going into the bag, and trailing heptic one has to push into the bag, and it becomes easy to push it into the bag. And just in case you are not sure, don't hesitate to put Visco and check if it is inside the bag or not. And once the IOL is in bag, now the only job left is to hydro the wound. And see here, I felt that there is some of the cortex probably, so I changed my hand, but it appeared perfectly fine. And now finally closure of the wound by hydro. Thank you for watching this video.